This is a national referendum. A referendum on inflation, illegal immigration, indoctrination, and crime at home and humiliation abroad. A choice between soaring inflation and skyrocketing energy costs, or affordable rents and gas and groceries for you and your family.
That was House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy before President Biden's speech, sending out his own warning ahead of the midterm elections. Joining me now is Arkansas Congressman Bruce Westerman. Good morning to you, Congressman. He's a member of the Natural Resources and Transportation and Infrastructure Committees. Let me just ask you this, because the Biden administration keeps touting the fact that oil prices and gas prices have come down a little bit from their record highs. But if you look at the futures, you can see natural gas is skyrocketing and people are bracing for higher heating costs this winter. The pain is far from over, and that was indicated by Jerome Powell last week as well. Your thoughts about the president's speech last night and also where we're headed?
Well, good morning, Jackie. Good to be with you. And, I think the president was just making a political move last night, but I think Americans have to look at life 2 years ago. The pandemic was much worse, but the economy was much better. And what has changed? Joe Biden and Democrat complete control of Congress. That's what's changed. And look at everything that's happened in between. Kevin was right. We've got some tough times ahead. We've been focused a lot on energy, and we know energy affects all of the economy. What I'm really concerned about are food prices, which are even outpacing energy on inflation. We've had some tough times with agriculture, not just here in the U.S., but globally. And with winter coming, food prices are going to go higher. I think food's going to be in more of a shortage, and I think it is indeed going to be tough times ahead. We need real leadership in Washington, and we're just simply not getting that from this administration or from Democrats.
I think a lot of people would agree with you, and they also would say, Congressman, that last night's speech was a distraction in some ways from the real issues: the economy, inflation, gas and heating prices, food prices, as you mentioned, the staples that are the kitchen table conversation at the average American family's home in this country. People are worried about what's to come, and they're worried about, their safety, their security, all these things.
Yeah, Jackie, I think what Americans want is a secure and prosperous future, and this administration and Democrats in Congress are simply not delivering that. We have a plan as Republicans. We have a plan to get the economy back on track, to actually use our resources that we have here, not be reliant on foreign countries, on many of our adversaries. It's just amazing what this president does to American energy production, to American jobs. I've been back in my district in August talking to people, and I can tell you the people who are hurting are those that are low income and fixed income, where fuel prices and food prices have the greatest impact.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because there's been a spending spree by the Democrats that started, the moment Joe Biden came into office and has continued. So we had the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, another $739 billion, and now the forgiveness of the student loans, the student loan bailout. Republican attorneys general are considering lawsuits against President Biden to block the bailout. And this is coming as the Washington Post, there was a report actually warning that, quote, a legal battle could carry stark financial consequences for millions of student borrowers who rejoiced last week after the Democrats delivered on this longstanding promise to erase some of their debt. Having said that, Congressman, many people say the president overstepped his authority in that bailout and that this is something Congress should have decided.
Yeah, even Nancy Pelosi said that. We sent a letter to her asking if she still feels the same way. But it's hard to keep up with how much money this administration spent, and they just keep announcing more and more programs. And again, this student loan forgiveness, it hasn't happened yet. It's not really a forgiveness. It's just shifting the burden from one group of people to another group of people. And actually, a lot fewer people go to college than, a lot fewer people go to college than go, and it's the people who didn't go, the hardworking, tax-paying Americans, are going to end up footing the bill for those who end up making more money over their lifetime.
Yeah, and a lot of people are angry about that. They say it's just the whole concept behind it is unfair, and that this was an obvious serious push to essentially buy votes ahead of the midterms. But having said that, I want to go back to the food prices because I think that's really important too, Congressman. The Department of Agriculture estimating food production costs, they're going to be up 18% in 2022. That's the highest jump that we've seen in history. We've seen fertilizer costs going up as well. This is a president that, tried to focus a little bit on energy by releasing, the SPR, but he didn't go to oil producers and roll back some of the regulations and say, you're free to drill, you're free to do this. He also missed the boat when it comes to agriculture and the farmers that are hurting in this country.
And Jackie, this is the United States of America, the world's leader in agriculture production, the world's leader in innovation. We have the most advanced, the best farming practices in the world. And we're going to be hurting here at home. And it's not because farmers are getting rich. It's because input costs are getting so much higher. You mentioned how natural gas is projected to cost even more. That's the main ingredient in fertilizer. As natural gas costs go up, then fertilizer costs are going to go up. And fertilizer is the main ingredient in agriculture. It's pretty simple, and it's easy to see how the policies of this administration are going to hurt in the pocketbook, and it's going to hurt at the dinner table.
Thank you for making that connection. Very, very important for people to understand how everything is all intertwined. It's all related, and that's why prices are moving higher because of the policies that we've seen from this administration. Congressman Bruce Westerman, good to see you this morning. Have a wonderful weekend.